Penguin Random House Audio presents The Soulful Art of Persuasion. The 11 Habits That Will Make Anyone a Master Influencer. This is the author, Jason Harris. To all those on the journey of soulful success. The starting point. It's hard to know who to trust anymore. These days, you can't look at a screen without being hit in the face with phony outrage, fake news, phishing scams, pop-up ads, or some other kind of online stupidity. Trust in government and mainstream media is near historical lows. And if anybody ever blindly trusted Silicon Valley giants like Facebook and Google, they don't anymore. Most Americans don't even trust opinion polls, at least according to one opinion poll. So how do you persuade people in an environment where nobody has a reason to trust you, where people are actively looking for reasons to be suspicious? That's the challenge I've spent my career grappling with. Because this much is clear. Americans sure as hell don't trust people in my line of work. As the CEO of the creative advertising agency Mechanism, I belong to one of the least trusted professions in the world. The only people considered more dishonest, according to a Gallup survey, are used car salesmen and members of Congress. That's some pretty questionable company. These attitudes say a lot about the nature of influence in the modern era, because if there's one thing all three of these professions have in common, it's that each is in the business of persuasion. And when you picture someone who persuades for a living, two types of people spring to mind. One is a slippery, fast-talking operator trying to pull one over on us, like the desperate real estate brokers in the Pulitzer Prize-winning play Glengarry Glen Ross. These are the sorts of characters who will tell you anything you want to hear just to close a deal. They rely on vague promises, linguistic tricks, and fine print to hide the truth. They annoyingly keep repeating your name as if they know you. They are purposely inoffensive, way too self-aware, calculating, eager to please, and in a word, soulless. Nobody wants to buy anything from these people. They make us want to figure out any excuse to say no. At the other extreme are ideologues and loudmouths who are absolutely certain of their point of view and think anyone who disagrees with them is either stupid or dangerous. Think cable news partisans and internet trolls, Washington lobbyists and talk radio pseudo-intellectuals. People in this group can be found at all points on our political spectrum, and they are incapable of convincing anybody who hasn't already embraced their exact same worldview. As a leading practitioner in the advertising industry, I find myself up against these preconceptions daily, yet I've still managed to build a career around my ability to persuade. Whether I'm helping persuade consumers to buy certain products and services, persuading clients to hire our agency and to remain with us, persuading potential employees to come on board, or persuading our current employees to do their best work. I've managed to do this in an industry in which persuasion happens in the most scrutinized environment imaginable. What's my secret? Well, I've only found one solution that works in today's modern world. Be the opposite of the greasy salesperson or the self-deluded blowhard everyone's on guard against. Be someone people can trust and relate to and even sometimes be moved by. In other words, you have to be soulful. That's the driving idea behind the soulful art of persuasion. And it's based on the simple observation that whether someone persuades us or not has little to do with the exact words and phrases they use or the positions they take, but with the kind of person they really are. Persuasive people aren't skilled at sweet-talking their audience or figuring out what people want to hear. Rather, they are the individuals we want to agree with. They have qualities that compel us to be on their side and trust them, whatever the issue may be. Their persuasiveness comes from their soul. The result is a form of influence that is far more powerful than reason alone. Logical arguments force us to accept a certain conclusion whether we like it or not, but soulful persuasion attracts us to a position. Genuine persuasion is about engaging rather than insisting. And this can actually be learned and made habitual with practice. I'm not going to give you a collection of tricks for closing a deal or making a quick sale. What I will show you is how to develop the personal habits that will allow you to be the kind of person that others trust, seek advice from, and want to collaborate with. In short, I'll show you how to develop a more persuasive character. Character is the collection of traits, dispositions, and virtues that someone consistently displays in their thoughts, emotional responses, and actions. The qualities that reflect who we are. Developing a persuasive character means acquiring the character traits, habits of mind, and personal practices that, once truly internalized, will no doubt make you a more influential person. The 4 principles. Personal dispositions that can make you persuasive fall into 4 main categories. First, persuasive people are original. When they speak, you sense they are coming from a place of authenticity and honesty, and that you're getting a glimpse of the real, unique them, not some prepackaged version designed to please you. For people who possess this virtue, their thoughts and actions are motivated by a deep understanding of who they are, always being themselves and building deep, long-term commitments. They are not motivated by the desire for short-term gains. Second, persuasive people are generous. They give habitually and without expecting things in return. I'm not just talking about money or physical gifts. Persuasive people also are generous with advice, opportunities, introductions, respect, and emotional positivity. You never get the impression that they're just looking out for themselves. Third, persuasive people are empathetic. They are naturally curious about other people and seek out engaging conversations that delve past small talk into topics that genuinely matter to others. People of this sort are skilled collaborators and possess an outlook that emphasizes our common humanity, not our differences. Finally, persuasive people are soulful. They hold themselves to their own self-imposed ethical and personal standards, always strive to be better, and motivate others to push beyond their normal limits. They are sources of inspiration for those around them. As a result, they possess a personal authority that makes them naturally influential. I'll explore these 4 principles in detail while focusing on the 11 specific habits that fall out of these larger principles, how they contribute to persuasion, and what each of us can do to develop and strengthen them. My goal is to help you incorporate certain attributes, viewpoints, and tendencies into your way of life so that they become reflexive, habitual, and a part of who you are. This way, when you display empathy or generosity or soulfulness, it will be obvious to those around you that they are getting a glimpse of your character, even if that recognition is unconscious. Depending on your own natural strengths and weaknesses, some of the following chapters will be more useful than others. Listeners who are naturally empathetic, for example, don't need to spend too much time strengthening that aspect of their character. The best way to use this audiobook is to be honest with yourself about which traits need the most work, and focus on those practices that will do the most good for you. Making persuasion soulful again. Persuasion isn't exactly a heartwarming word. It is kind of loaded, and most people associate it with deception or some form of coercion. There's no doubt that negative persuasion is possible. In fact, you see it everywhere in the form of fear-mongering, political attack ads, and us versus them rhetoric. And my own industry, advertising, certainly bears some responsibility for persuasion's bad rap. But persuasion can also come from a positive, life-affirming place, a soulful place. If you strive to be original, generous, empathetic, and soulful, you will be well on your way to a more rewarding and meaningful life. You will also be a happier, more positive person with more fulfilling experiences. That these character traits will also make you more influential in a wide range of situations is largely a side benefit.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?